Please hit the like button. I am Van. We are the LFR family. We're about to check out some more JP. Shout out to him, man. This dude is hilarious, but he's also a teacher. He teaches while, making it entertaining, especially on his Awaken with JP channel. This channel right here is his JP Reacts channel, and he just does mostly just teaching about things that that most people need to learn about. You know what I mean? Each one teach one. Isn't that how it go? So we about to check this out. Y'all make sure y'all visit bluemonsterprep.com, okay? Just in case you guys need something for mercy purposes or in the event of a catastrophe or something, please make sure y'all check them out, all right? Even if you don't purchase anything, just go visit. Tell me if you like what you see. If you do, then we can talk about whether or not you want to purchase something. And if you do purchase something, you don't need me for it. Just put LFR as the promo code for free shipping, all right? So let's go and jump into this. Our last video we checked out from him was him talking about the CIA, the secrets in the CIA, and if they killed JFK. So in this one right here, he's talking about all of the words we can no longer use according to Stanford. So, all right, so is this the university? Is this a book? Like, what are we talking about? Okay, let's get into it.
And here in the section on culturally appropriative, you see the word brave. Don't use the word brave anymore.
Bless you, Carnage to God, man. You're really nice. I appreciate you, brother. I really appreciate you, man. And likewise to you, thank you for being alive.
And instead of using the word brave, consider using, well, none. Do not use. What's up, my freedom love?
You can't even say the word daggone brave. Are you freaking kidding me, man?
I mean, friends, hey, you can put all your worries to rest because Stanford University just came out with the Elimination of Harmful Language Initiative. We're banning the term American because it's offensive, according to Stanford.
What? No, you're lying. You are freaking lying. Not the term American. Whatever. I need to see that for myself, man. That's garbage.
Now, as you can imagine, I am 100% on board with the thought police at Stanford University now informing everybody what the most offensive terms are. Terms like American. I mean, what an insult. And then they provide a recommended alternative. They also provide some context. So I want to go through a few of them, but starting right at the top, this one's just catching the most flack from free thinkers. God help us. I mean, free thinkers, what do we have to do?
Well, what we have to do is go back to thinking like the rest of the get along gang, man. We got to think like everybody else, all right? Move like everybody else, groove like everybody else, and I don't know, we'll take less flack. You know I don't agree with that at all, man. At all.
We tried to get rid of them. They're still around. Here you can see in page 7 of the Elimination of Harmful Language Initiative from Stanford. American. Instead of using the term American, use the term U.S. citizen.
That is garbage. Garbage. How in the hell is saying American offensive? Huh? Please, somebody let me know. Are you offended when someone calls you American? Are you offended when someone says the word around you? What the holy...
Wow, what a big difference. And of course, the context. This term often refers to people from the United States only. No shit. Thereby insinuating that the US is the most important country in the Americas. Objectively speaking, it probably is.
Objectively speaking, you have the right to believe that about your country. If that's the country that you pledge allegiance to, if that's the country that has all of your history of your family and your lineage and everything, by all means, you should be proud of where you're from. Saying Americans suggests only Americans. Well, and I don't care what it suggests. If you came here from another country and you became American yourself, you are included in the word Americans. In the term Americans. Ain't no what? Who's getting offended from this?
And regardless, insinuating, who cares who's insinuating that? And by the way, what's wrong if someone does think that? Like, what's your favorite food? Well, you're insinuating that's your favorite food. How dare you? Oh, you mean I'm not allowed to insinuate that my favorite food is my favorite food? That's exactly what the thought police are trying to tell you, okay? Pay attention. Stanford University here, do you understand? It costs $80,000 a year to go to this school to get rid of your intellect so you can be one of the dumbest people on earth. And that's what we're going after.
So what they're basically doing is teaching people how to skip and hop over every offensive puddle that you possibly can hop over. So that way you have no problems. What else are people offended by? Let's make sure that they aren't offended by this. Do not say this anymore. And also, what else will help you get by without any confrontation from anyone? Oh yeah, don't say American. What?
It's going to make you extra safe. So they have, I went through them all. It's hundreds of terms. I just want to hit a few of the highlights because it's hilarious. And I think they can do you a lot of good. You freedom-loving, free-thinking, offensive person. I got to tell you, I learned a lot from this. My language, all this new speak, it's great. So here you can see the Elimination of Harmful Language Initiative. It's this glorious 13-page document. This is great. So just make sure we see here in the left-hand column, this is instead of. So that's the offensive term. And the second column, consider using. That's, okay, new speak. That's what you're supposed to say. Then the context. By the way, all their context, they're just BS rationalizations where if you just took it unto itself, it's like, all right, like that sort of makes sense. If you take their context completely out of context of reality. Let's get into it. Okay, the term OCD. You're not allowed to say OCD anymore. Is it a diagnosed disorder? Yeah, but you're not allowed to say it. What you should better say is detail-oriented.
That's just crazy, man. You are OCD. What? You can't...
Well, there's a difference between OCD and being detail-oriented. But OCD, it's offensive. It's kind of like acknowledging a reality that someone might be uncomfortable with. That's what anything offensive is based on. Which, by the way, anyone can be uncomfortable about anything. Therefore, if you extrapolate this, it's offensive, you can't say it language, you're stuck in a place where you literally can't say anything. You might say a lot of words, but your words will say nothing. And here in the section on culturally appropriative, you see the word brave. Don't use the word brave anymore. And instead of using the word brave, consider using, none.
Wow. They are literally trying to get rid of you can't say home of the brave anymore, or you're offensive and you're getting canceled. You're gonna get canceled if you say brave. Well, you know what? There's a whole lot of people out there who do it when they see the LGBTQs come about. Like, oh, you're so brave. They can't say it either.
Do not use. Okay, don't use the word brave. What are they trying to do? Let's put a couple things together. You can't say American, you can't say brave. How many brave Americans will the tyrants have to worry about if we outlaw the word brave and we outlaw the word American? You'll have a lot less brave people if you actually erase the word brave and therefore the meaning from the collective consciousness. I don't think they're erasing it, but they're trying. Let's move on. Oh, here on page 6, the word she, that's offensive. What are you supposed to say instead? Person's name or they. Check out the context.
Wow, you can't even say she anymore. They are trying to get rid of the woman. You can't even have your daggone pronoun anymore. Getting rid of the woman. Get out of here. The women are losing their rights to new women. And they can't even say their pronoun.
Unless you know the person you're addressing uses she as...
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to check it out, though.
Their pronoun. Wouldn't it be her pronoun? It is better to use they or ask the person which pronouns they use. That's right. Just so if you didn't ask, instead of like an adult female just assuming she's a she because she is a she, it's better to assume they're a they. So you just project multiple people, plurality, they're they. Hey, they, how are you? They're like, what? You think I'm schizophrenic, have multiple personalities?
Oh my gracious.
That's actually kind of offensive.
Yo, this thing says, man, you can't say mankind. You can't say mankind because this term reinforces male-dominated language. You can't say man-made because this term reinforces male-dominated language. You can't say manpower because this term reinforces male-dominated language. So you're doing all of this to what? To protect the woman, but then the woman can't even use her pronoun, which is she, because then you might offend people who are called she and prefer to be called they or their name. So basically they're just saying all pronouns are out the door, and all, especially anything that starts with man. Man in the middle. This is ridiculous, man.
Then the term or the word transgendered. Can't say that. What can you say? Transgender. That extra ED at the end is very offensive. Why? I don't know. I guess it reminds someone of what they tell you they are. Oh, and here's an important note, scholarly note. Remember, this is from Stanford University. These are the scholars that know more than you or I. So take note of this. Under the heading imprecise language. Imprecise language is terms that utilize euphemisms, vagueness, or inaccurate words to not say what one is trying to say. I would argue someone who's using any of these words they list, they're actually using what's called precise language to say exactly what the they mean to say.
Bless you, JP. Brother, I want to daggone dap you up, man. For real. For that, I want to dap you up. Somebody please reach out to JP and ask him if I can interview him. I would like to interview JP. No bull, man. This dude is so cool. He is so cool. I don't know why it was that one part on the video that made me like, yo, I can have a, you know what I mean? I can have I can take a shot with my brother.
Under the imprecise language section, that's where we have American, like, do not say American.
That's hilarious. You can't say amen anymore. You can only say a person. After you pray, in Jesus' name, I pray a person.
We being taught to hate our country, not by Stanford University that's funded by the Chinese Communist Party. They would not want to teach anyone to hate America. So much so that you just can't say American, okay? And then we have the term Hispanic is offensive. So this is white people telling Hispanic people, hey, basically what you are is offensive. You're Hispanic. That's pretty offensive. So instead, use the term Latinx, which, by the way, I saw a study that shows 95% of Hispanic people don't like the term Latinx.
I never heard the term. Well, that's a lie. I've heard that term a lot when it came to online personalities. But when it comes to my day in, day out conversations, no one uses that term. He has so many daggone terms on here that you can't use, man. Hispanic, you can't use Hispanic anymore. You got to call them Mexican or El Salvadorian or whatever Latin heritage or country they're from.
But just the scholarly know-it-allness for these white people in Stanford to say, no. The Hispanic people definitely want to be called Latinx. The Hispanic people are like, no, we don't. We're like, shut up, we know more than you. We're white people at Stanford. I don't know if they have any level of self-awareness here. And then you have the term Karen. That's offensive. What should you use instead that's less offensive? You should say demanding or entitled white woman.
Isn't that assuming that every Karen is a white woman? Every Karen is a white woman? I know some black Karens. I kind of think my wife is a black Karen. Don't tell nobody. He picking up what I'm putting down.
Is objectively 10 times more offensive. Which, by the way, if a term is accurate relative to you or a subject or a person you're speaking about, it is very precise language and it's aligned with truth to use whatever term reveals the most accurate description of that reality. And if someone has uncomfortable feelings that come up about that, shockingly, that's okay. And shockingly, that's their business, not anybody else's. Any level of offensiveness that comes up, it's based on insecurity, which, by the way, insecurity is part of the human condition. But being insecure about having insecurities, that's where you have this no-touch zone. You can't say anything that's going to make me feel insecure because I'll just get offended, which really means I'm so weak inside that I'm not willing to feel any of my insecurities.
They're talking about the character Pat from Saturday Night Live. I remember that character, and I still to this day don't know what Pat's sex was. I don't. They did an excellent job covering up Pat's gender.
So those who get easily offended are really weak. The word weak is not on here, so I'm allowed to say it because it accurately describes what someone is. Hey, here's another helpful term. Stupid, don't say it. What should you say instead? Boring, uncool.
Stupid is not boring and uncool. It's not. In my opinion, they're not even synonyms. Are they? I mean, you're stupid. I thought that was questioning your intelligence. Not saying that you lack enthusiasm or you lack je ne sais quoi. You don't have any, you know what I mean? Nah. You know what I mean? Or you're just a weirdo, so you're stupid. You're weird. You're not cool, so you're stupid. Even them drawing these comparisons is offensive. Them drawing these comparisons are offensive as hell. Just like the word Karen, when they say you should call, instead of saying Karen, you need to say, what was it? Something white woman. I mean, this is ridiculous, man.
By their own rationale, the term stupid is offensive. Okay. But calling someone boring isn't offensive. Okay. And then we have to protect the criminals here. So the term thug, can't say it. What can you say? Suspect or criminal. Because someone who just committed a crime, we don't want to offend them.
Yeah, you don't want to offend them. Officer, give me your badge number. You called me a thug. I am offended. There's going to be a lawsuit. And the same Black Lives Matter lawyer is going to show up and defend him. He called my, what did they call him? My client a thug.
We're going to send them to a prison, female prison, if they tell us they're a woman. We're going to send them there, but we can't offend them on the way in. They've literally offended society with a crime, but we can't risk hurting their feelings. And then in the section, institutionalized racism, we see the word black box. You know, like an airplane has a black box, or a box that's literally black. That's called a black box. Can't say black box. What Stanford recommends you say is hidden.
Why in the hell would I call it an opaque box? A flight recorder? A mystery box? The mystery box. That sounds so daggone Scooby-Doo. The mystery box? That is some Scooby-Doo bull sugar honey iced tea, if you ask me.
Mystery box. Opaque box. Flight recorder. Reason being, the term black box assigns negative connotations to the color black, racializing the term. Can you just imagine the immense intellects that follow this? They're sitting there looking at a black box. They're like, oh man, this flight recorder that has like this opaque color, like it's really dark, and man, I just wish we had a word to describe what this opaque mystery flight recorder box is called. What if we called that black box like a black box? Why would we do that? Well, because it's a black box. No, we're not going to do that. Next term, disabled person, offensive. What you should say is person with a disability. Vastly different meaning. Some would say like that's the same thing. You're just literally trying to control language, you psychopathic control freaks, but they're not that. They're Stanford scholars. So just keep that in mind. Homeless person is an offensive term. What should you say is person without housing. Okay, well, by that logic, okay, they're a person without housing. What else are they without? They might be without a car. They might be without an internet. They might be without a computer. They might be without a basketball hoop. They might not own one of those. So I think it's actually offensive to limit their identity to just a person without housing. Like,
you know what? I'm just happy that because their words that they were rather we say have been a little more offensive and way more work and way stupider, not uncool or boring, just dumb. Their words that they would rather say just so happen to be dumb. But I'm just happy that homeless person, they're not suggesting that you call them a bum or a hobo or something like that. It's this man down by the river or something.
Like, what else are they without? Appropriately, you should have to list every single item that they are without in order to identify that person. It's easier, quicker, more accurate, and well, just all more aligned with truth to call them a homeless person. It's just going to be better. They're a person without, then list everything on earth that they're without. And after about 9 years, when you're done saying that sentence, then that person probably won't be there anymore. So you're going to have to move on in the conversation. And then immigrant, offensive term. What you should call them is a person who has immigrated, a non-citizen. It's like, man, a person who has immigrated. I wish we had a word for that. So many words are there to represent a collection of words. So a word is a representation of a deeper meaning, a broader collection of words. So we're like, screw those words. Like, let's just do it the long, hard way, guys, because it's less offensive. And then prostitute. Can't offend a prostitute by calling her a prostitute.
Person who engages in sex work. Because using person first language helps to not define people by just one of their many amazing characteristics, right? Am I right? So person who put their leg out when they see oncoming traffic and shake their hips a little bit, probably pop out a nipple and advertise what they got so that you can exchange money for their private parts. That's what a prostitute is. Oh my gracious, get over yourself. You know what happened? What happened was they're just trying to be so daggone creative. They're running out of assignments. They're getting like completely done with all of the old assignments they've been giving out for all the years that they've been open. So they probably threw a contest to see which one of their students can come up with a creative way to help society. And this right here just won. They came up with words that to whoever this idiot was that wrote this felt like they were offended by. And clearly it was somebody who walked around with a big old box of tissues and just cried all day because they heard these regular day-to-day words like mankind and American and Hispanic, and it just made them feel so bad that they had to make some rules. Like, we need some rules. That's what it was. We need some rules. Idiots, man. Who raised these kids?
You have to call them a person who engages in sex work. That's literally the definition of the word prostitute. So it's like you can say the definition, but you can't say the word that definition uses to convey itself. Got it. Great logic. I didn't go to college. Obviously, this isn't natural to me. And the term rule of thumb, highly offensive. What should you say? Standard rule, general rule. Makes sense. I mean, rule of thumb, I guess we have to accommodate the population born without thumbs. Trigger warning. It used to be like, man, it's offensive to not use the term trigger warning because then someone might be offended by what they could easily be offended about. So we were taught to use the term trigger warning. The goalposts keep moving, people. So now we have to say content note.
You got to soften it because the word trigger creates stress because people don't know what you're about to say afterwards. So if you say trigger warning, anxiety, what are you about to say? What are you about to say? What are you about to say? Anxiety. So you got to soften it and say content note. Most people going to look at that and be like, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, go on, bring it on.
Here's why. The people who needed a trigger warning, they're so unstable that they need a trigger warning, and they're so unstable about being noted as unstable because they need a trigger warning since they taught us to use that term. Now we have to not use that term anymore because it reminds them of the reality that they don't wish to see. And then the term African American, which now you're supposed to say black. It used to be, you can't say black, you have to say African American.
Thank you, JP.
They
mixed that up. They mixed that up. It used to be different. People was proud to call themselves African American because it's like they're accepting that they belong to a country. And because some black people act like, where do I belong? I don't belong anywhere. Where do we belong? Because we were stolen from Africa and just brought over here as slaves and we never became anything else. And they called us black. That's just dumb as hell. This whole thing is dumb. It's
moving the goalposts. We're going in a circular fashion here, guys. So this is the Stanford Elimination of Harmful Language Initiative. I am so grateful they took the time to come out with this. I am so grateful that a great institution in the US has taken the time up on their perch to educate us peasants and give us more permission on what we're allowed to say and revoke our right to free speech by trying to control speech. I couldn't be more grateful. And Stanford, I just assure you, I'll be paying real close attention to this. And I assure you, Stanford, you are not the laughingstock of every free-thinking American, brave Americans. Very offensive. You're not the laughingstock of all those people. You are being worshipped by everyone who's fallen for the idea of giving you $80,000 to have the illusion that you'll somehow make them more successful in life. Think about going to Stanford. You're paying $80,000 a year and they teach you this. It's like, cool. That's going to better equip me for the real world, right? Yeah, it definitely will. Then you go out in the real world and you start talking like a complete moron. I dare say you'll definitely be better equipped for the real world. Just don't think about that too long, too hard. It's not in your best interest. So with that said,
in my opinion, man, I think it's dumb as hell. I think they're setting people up to fail. And if someone is going to jail, call them a thug. Why should we care? I had to say kale because it rhymed with jail and fail and tail. And it's a black thing, not an African American thing. It's a black thing. We can't say African American anymore. I am no longer an African American because it's offensive. I am black. According to Stanford, I am no longer an African American. I am black because saying African American is offending the people who are watching this. When I say I'm an African American, it makes people want to cancel me. It makes people start writing YouTube talking about how mean and insensitive I'm being. This black man said African American. What is his problem? He said American. He's American. We all know how offensive that is, right? We've seen it in the list of words that you're not supposed to say anymore. You're not even supposed to say American anymore. So what are you supposed to say about y'all? You're American. What are you supposed to say about you? Oh, you're a U.S. citizen. I can't call you Americans anymore. I can't call people who fought in the military brave anymore. I can't call police officers brave anymore, firefighters brave anymore. We can't talk about 9/11 because if we talk about bravery, we're being offensive. Stop being offensive, please. This is nuts, man. This is nuts. I don't know what's going on actually, but when I learn about it, I'm gonna tell somebody. When I learn something, I'm gonna tell something. Love y'all. Peace out.